Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thanks so much for dropping by this video. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, emotions in non-duality. You know, there's this myth floating around that non-duality somehow eradicates emotions or eradicates the personality. Well, in the very extreme cases, it's true. If, you know, in the yogic tradition, it's said that if you have attained a full samadhi, you completely lose awareness of the world. And unless someone else feeds your body in I think it's something like 70 days, you'll just leave your body because there's a complete detachment from the world. There was a point in time during Ramana Maharshi's life where if people hadn't fed him, he would have died because he was in such a state of disconnection, body in such a state of union with, I mean, I can only assume, but consciousness bliss, that he would have let his body go. And to some extent he did. Like he would like rats were chewing on his body and ants were crawling all over him, biting him, and he just had no awareness of it. So whether or not that's praiseworthy or not, I'll leave for each one of us to discern as individuals. But there's this myth floating around that that enlightenment ends emotions. And to be sure, there are certain emotions that are based in what we could call false self, or such as fear and anxiety and rage and so forth and so on. Such really intense, extreme emotions are not ended. They just occur less often. And Ramana Maharshi himself had quite a personality post his awakening. He was quite a jokester. He would imitate different characters from classical Indian mythology. As I shared in a previous video, he cried the day that Gandhi was killed, and on the day that he left his body, when his devotees started singing Arunachala Shiva to him, he started crying tears of joy. So the idea that enlightenment wipes out personality and wipes out emotions is just actually complete bullshit. What it does do is it does eliminate identification with it, and it does eradicate. You have a complete personality wipe. And again, that's from the yogic literature. Is some yogis attain this state where it's just like they're gone. If devotees feed their body, the body will continue to live, but they're, in a sense, they're not really there anymore. And if that's, there are certainly times in my life where that had appeal. It's not a goal I so much study anymore, but so I just like to be really clear. Any teacher that tells you, that emotions are wrong or to be eliminated, or certainly there are certain excessive emotions that are rooted in illusion and rooted in inaccurate thinking. I mean, that's the essence of cognitive therapy. It's basically a scientific fact that excessive emotions are rooted in untrue thinking. So there's definitely a way in which awakening brings a lot more peace and a lot less extreme, intense emotions. But there's kind of this false idea out there that enlightenment is just like being a kind of a blissed out zombie. And to any teacher to whom that seems to be what they are, a blissed out zombie, I would say go hang out with them when they're not teaching. Having led a variety of spiritual events, including, I mean, technically not a satsang because it was more focused on the teachings of Christ, but when I get into the mode of teaching, there's something else kind of takes over, and I can get into a really blissful high place. And that just, that's not my moment by moment experience. And it's very easy to get a spiritual high when you're just talking about spiritual principles. But the idea is that we want to navigate the world moment by moment with presence. And, the bills and the parking ticket and the fight with your girlfriend and all of it. And the neighbors who are playing noisy too loud. That's the real ashram. That's where the metal hits the road. The long and short of it is, those of us who are recovering from the modern satsang movement is we're recovering from just another religion, just another cult. That was like, this is the truth, and they were wrong. They were presenting a very incomplete, inaccurate, so very incomplete and inaccurate. Yet they were claiming that it was the whole truth. And I just recently got this comment from someone who, I think I'll read a little bit more of it. So profound what this person wrote. Talking about this idea of awakening, and she said it's so beyond a concept. People who've experienced it say you must experience it for yourself. And once you realize it's so self-evident that it's even beyond a concept that can be wrong, I absolutely hate it, but I'm afraid it's just my ego who doesn't want to accept it. And these are the kind of mind fucks that happen when non-duality is taught improperly. And I'm so sorry that you experienced that, and I'm so sorry that I experienced that. And just hang in there. The truth is in there, and we've just been given an incomplete picture of it. And the truth embraces everything, including personality, including the world, including universe, including the things within this very teaching of Advaita Vedanta, which are labeled as illusions. Because as I read, let's see if I can find it again. Shankara, and when commenting on illusion, I think I have it memorized. He said, "Brahman, God, the supreme truth, consciousness alone is real. The world or the universe is unreal." That's proposition 1. Brahman alone is real. Proposition 2, the world is unreal. Proposition 3, the world is Brahman. So applying these things to things like emotions and personalities, you can say, God, Brahman alone is real. Personality, emotion is unreal. And then what does the third one bring us to? Personality, emotion is God. Thanks so much for dropping by.